Alright, welcome lads and lasses back to the YouTube channel. I know I've been gone for a while, right? I haven't done a video in quite a long time. A lot's happened. Competitions, essays, fucking hitting the strongman scene. I'll make a video on that soon if you guys are interested in that. Stick along for the rest of the week and I'll upload something on how my competitions went and what the competition's like and what the plan is for next year. But for today, because I'm back in the off season now, it's time to rebuild. I'm going to make a video that I think a lot of you guys are going to be interested in, and that video is about bodybuilding and powerlifting. Now, instead of doing the general bro thing where I pick a side because I'm in one of the camps, I'm very lucky because I'm a strongman. I think both of those are kind of low test, and so I can give you an objective opinion on the two. So here's a little conceptual story, guys. A conceptual story, right? To explain to you the difference between these two things. Okay, and it'll make a bit more sense later. Powerlifting is like the hot yoga chick that you met last week in your class, right? She's like a solid 7, right? Great glute development, looks really good in the tights, right? You've heard a couple of rumors, she's kind of maybe been around the block, but you know, she's hot, she's easy, she's fresh, and guess what? She can do a full split, which is like great, I mean, obviously. On the other hand, bodybuilding is like the nerdy art chick who you know from high school. Right? You never knew when you were there that behind those fucking thick-rimmed glasses, she was drop-dead gorgeous. But guess what? You ran into her recently. And she's just absolutely stunning. But because she's a bit of a nerdier girl, she's an intellectual guy. She wants to be talked to. She wants to be courted. Right? She wasn't just immediately DTF, right? You had to communicate with her and develop an actual relationship, which you happen to enjoy, right? And then only after you gently courted her did her kinky side finally come out. But this is the type of girl that you take to the family. But again, the other chick can do a full split. So really, it's hard to decide. Now, the reason I can make this comparison is because I do strongman, and doing strongman is basically picking the chubby chick who has a beard and can fucking kick your ass. So, like, I am not making fun of anybody, but listen to my analogy here, right? I'm going to throw up some clips from the last week. This is my first week back in the off-season after taking a week off from competition. I'm looking pretty lean these days compared to the last time you guys would have seen me. I'm getting leaner. Reason is I didn't move down a weight class. I didn't really move down. I didn't cut weight for my first comp. And the second 2 competitions I went into what would be my actual weight class, so I water cut for those 2. And got a bit leaner for the second comp, which was SA Strongest Man, to make the water cut easier, which it was. I didn't actually end up having to sweat. Just the water loading helped me, well, got me to under 80 kilos. But I want to show you guys the difference here. Take a look at this video, right? This is me hitting a 240 kilo deadlift at my first strongman show, which is the Arnold here in South Africa. And now look at the second clip of absolute pain and suffering while I'm doing stiff leg deadlifts with literally 70 kilos. Right, here's another example. Look at this clip of me doing a back squat. This is my best back squat so far with 200 kilos. And then cut it to a clip of me doing Bulgarian split squats with 30 kilos on the barbell. It literally is the world of difference. I put up a couple of shorts you guys might have seen called What People Think is Hard versus What is Actually Hard. Now, look, it's done in a joking way. Both of these things are difficult, right, while you're busy doing them. Like, hitting a 1 rep max attempt is not easy. But there is a very substantial difference between these two things. With powerlifting, all you care about is moving the weight. Just like with Cindy, the yoga bunny, all you care about is the fact that she can do a full split. There's no emotion attached, guys. It's a purely physical relationship, right? You can do it. In bodybuilding, we're talking about Sarah, okay? And Sarah Sarah, you have to suffer a little bit. You got to go through that pain, right? You have to talk to her. You have to put aside the fact that you're a bit of a block of wood and actually develop a personality. In the same way that you have to grind through all these sets. You have to grind through all these sets and resist the urge to get rid of resist the urge to stop in the face of all the pain that you're feeling. You don't really get that when you're trying to max out. It's different. It's still hard. Make no mistake. I'm not saying that 1 rep maxes are easy. What I am saying is that there's a very stark difference between moving weight for the sake of moving weight and moving weight for the sake of making your fucking hamstring snap, right? There's a very big difference between the two, right? And a lot of people who say bodybuilding's easy, they've got their head screwed off completely. It is insanely difficult to do these movements in a hypertrophy range with appropriate technique, or rather, should I say, strict technique, because I do sometimes like cheating depending on the time. But if you look at the way I'm doing these movements, very slow eccentric, pause in the stretched position of the muscle, right? And then a faster concentric portion, but very little pause at the top, and then going straight down again. The amount of tearing and pain that creates in the muscle is absolutely insane. It is a completely different feeling, the amount of tension you get, that I was literally, like those SLDLs, that was a solid RP8. I could have maybe done 2 more, that was all, right? And I was gone, and it was 70 kilos compared to 240. That's the difference between moving weight for the sake of weight and actually putting tension on the muscle. Now, obviously, I compete in strongman, so when I compete, it's move weight for the sake of weight. When I'm in comp prep, right, even if I'm doing stiff leg deadlifts, I've done stiff leg deadlifts with 200 kilos before, but it's a different mechanism, right? This is the big difference between the topic of this video, which is actually neurological stimulus versus muscular stimulus, right? Now, obviously, when you hit a 1 rep max, your muscles are under an extreme amount of tension, right? But when you're hitting a 1 rep max, the biggest thing that gets taxed is the neurological system. That's why I know after I hit a PRs, everything feels tingly. The next day, it feels like I got hit by a truck. But it's not that my muscles are sore. It's this fatigue that's just global, right? I can feel afterwards my nervous system twitching. I do these deregulating exercises because post workout, especially when I train heavy, this doesn't happen when I'm in the off season. When I'm training heavy, I get twitchy. My nervous system is so overstimulated that I'm actually tweaking up. It's very funny to see. Compare that to the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Like those Bulgarian split squats. What is this? This is a tremendous amount of tension in the muscle, right? A tremendous amount of tearing, and then a tremendous amount of just blood and pump seeping into there. I mean, guys, it was insane because I haven't been in the off season for so long, and I haven't really done anything like this in a while. It's like it was the first time I gotten the fat leg pump. Guys, my hamstrings, I hit that stiff leg deadlift workout on Monday. My hamstrings are still in pain. It was such a good stimulus, and I think I did 3 sets, right? That I had to skip my hamstring work for today because I'm still too sore, right? Probably next week I could add in my second hamstring movement and just keep the first one 3 sets. Anyway, I'll progress that. But the point is this is a completely different stimulus, right? They target 2 completely different things. And honestly, because obviously everybody wants to know which is the most difficult, in my opinion, the bodybuilding stuff is just way more difficult. Maybe it's because I'm not that used to it, I don't do it that often, I'm not super adapted to it. But at the end of the day, when I can't lift or move a weight, it just fails, right? There's just, you can't lift it, right? Here, there is this pain threshold and pain tolerance that you have to develop to, where it's like, fuck, am I willing to take 4-second rep grinders where I know I could just keep moving a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and having to force yourself to do things like slow eccentrics when your instinct is telling you just drop down or just get the weight up, and forcing yourself to stay in this weighted stretch position. It's insanely difficult. absolutely great for getting huge though. So the reason I talk about this is part of the first plan for this off season. For the first 12 weeks I mean, it's hypertrophy phase for a strong man, so obviously it's a bit more relevant to, obviously I'm still choosing compound movements. I'm just working them in a different range, being very strict on technique and stuff like that. But the reason why is because I haven't done a phase like this in a while, and I need to really make sure that I'm filled out for the 80 kilo class, because when I went to essays, homeboy who won, and it was a very close battle by the way, I'll post that video soon. Homeboy who won weighs the same as me, and he's like, he's like 5'4". It was hilarious because I should win an award for skinniest strongman. Honestly, I should, because I by far was. Now I like being leaner because my strength has always been moving events. I've always been good at the running events. I won most of them in the show too. They are my thing, and so I am not. And also, obviously, because I'm natural, I don't take drugs. I'm not particularly keen on having to, it'll be hard for me to move up to the under 90 kilo class because I just don't have the mass for that. But I'm going to try stay relatively lean, right? Which I usually don't do. Usually I like to beef up in the off season, go back over 90 kilos, and then come back down. I'm going to try stay relatively lean, stay under 85 kilos, and just recomp in this range. Try, instead of going into this last competition where I did being like 83 and a half at 13%, try drop that. Try go in next year at 83 and a half at 10%, right? If I could make that difference, it's a big difference in muscle size. Now, okay, maybe that's a little bit too much, a bit optimistic, but hey, I like optimistic goals. Point is, that's the plan. So I'll show you guys, I'll make this video to show you guys kind of what's happening, and also I just think it's interesting. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think's harder? Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll check you guys in the next video.